Hello. Artemis is heading home, and it's been a bit of a boot in the delicates for the flat earthers and the moon landing deniers, Fraz. But don't worry, there are plenty of conspiracy theorists in Scottish football and plenty of tinfoil hats to go around. There's no little green men on the moon, apparently. But thankfully, like a sport, there's some signs of intelligible life, just not here.
I was going to say, you've invited Captain Moonman on me today to keep the theme.
Yeah, so listen, I'm Michael Gannon, this is Fraser Wilson. Welcome to Game On, your weekly hot take podcast from Record Sport. Are you been interested in this moon jaunt, Fraz?
A wee bit, and then I just realised every picture I feel like I've seen before. Anyway, no matter what side of the moon.
Yeah,
a few potholes, like it's very much like back home. A lot of it, isn't it?
I was going to say, it felt like driving up the A9, didn't it?
Aye.
Got a slingshot round Inverness to get home.
I don't really want to take the wheels away for them, but
a lot of fuss over nothing.
I've been a bit disappointed, so I've kind of lost. Have they landed yet? Well, they're not landing, are they?
They're going to land. No, they're just flying
back there.
Oh no, I think they're heading back, aren't they? I don't think they're bloody stopping at the moon.
Good luck to them.
I don't have as much a service station up there to stop it. Just past it.
Think of the price up there. Jeez, oh.
But listen, before we get stuck in, first up, a big shout out to our brilliant sponsor, NordVPN. Protect your private data like bank details, passwords, and online history. Absolutely essential in the modern internet age. To get your best discount off your NordVPN plan, go to nordvpn.com/GameOnPod. There's a link in the description below. Loads of discounts, worth getting involved. It's absolutely a necessity these days. So, anyway, back to the conspiracy theories. The SPFL post-split fixtures come out, tinfoil hats all over the place. The theory is, from some, that it's Celtic who have been given a leg up for the title race. Is that the case?
No.
Next
question. No, I'm not having legs up.
Four home games in the last 6.
Hearts, but they're doing
top of the table.
They've only had 15
and they've got
home games.
Snyder at Parkhead the last game. Tell me.
Celtic have had 15 home games. Hearts, Rangers, others have had 17 home games. That all evens out. I just don't see, just because we split, surely we still need teams to finish on even number of home and away. Now, look, I love the fact the managers are saying there's nothing to be seen here. All three seem agreed on it. Derek McKinnon said they'd play them in the car park. I love that attitude. That's the attitude that's going to be needed. See, the bottom line here, right? Supporters can get their knickers in a twist. That's kind of their job. The bottom line is, and I need to write this one down, Rangers already played Hearts twice at home, so of course they need to go to Tynecastle.
Yeah.
Hearts have had Celtic at home twice, so of course they need to go to Parkhead. That's all fair.
Yeah.
The last day of the season, if it comes down to it, Celtic v Hearts at Parkhead or Rangers going to Falkirk. If all those three teams still have it in their hands to win the league, right? And I love Falkirk. They have been magnificent this season. Nothing against them, but which fixture would you rather have? I'd rather be in Rangers' shoes. Go to Falkirk to win the league.
I haven't won there. They're playing this weekend, obviously, but I haven't won there.
That's another reason. That maybe it's their own fault. It's not the fixtures guy. Mike, what do you think?
I think, I must admit, I'm playing devil's advocate. I mean, I think there's a lot of fuss made about the Hearts not having a home game in the last game of the season, and people are pouring back through the years of fixtures and who's at top going into the split and who gets a home game in the last game. I think a lot of these seasons in the last 14 or 15 have been Celtic. Quite a lot of these ones, Celtic have had it wrapped up before then, and it's almost like a TV choice for trophy day. There's very, very few times when it's going down to the wire. The last game of the season doesn't really matter who's at home or such. I mean, I remember various last day wins that have been Rangers and Celtic been both away from home. Yeah, sometimes in the same night.
Yeah.
Excuse me. So I think that one is a bit of a. Like I say, Hearts had to play 3 away games and two at home. I don't know how they could work it otherwise. And I think talking to people that there was no other real way to get around that.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that it's Celtic last game is something we should all enjoy and embrace. It's
absolutely,
and hopefully the three of them are still in the fight for that title in that last day, and that's going to be absolute box office. This is what we want.
That's what we want.
And listen, Hearts might already have the title wrapped up by that point, or they might not. Who knows? So that game might be inconsequential by the end of it. Who knows? Or it could have the scenario Celtic might be out of it, and then they could maybe derive Rangers. It's fascinating. Embrace it. I think you're right. The managers have embraced it. Why shouldn't Robbie? And listen, let's leave the tinfoil hat brigade to it.
Yeah, good luck to them. We're not meant to agree in this, though, are we? So
that's
too good a start. Let's move on, right? a big talking point ahead of this week's fixtures. Another brilliant match day coming up. But the Green Brigade are back at Parkhead for the visit to St Mirren on Saturday afternoon. How much of a difference is that going to make to Celtic's title hopes, to the whole title showdown? What do you think?
Do you know what? I think we can overstate sometimes. I mean, that kind of thing. But there's no doubt that it's a PR, a rare PR win for Celtic this season. They've not had very many. The Celtic board have had not many PR wins.
Aye.
I think the only two they've had is getting Martin Neal in as interim manager twice, and maybe this one.
You did a column in this, didn't you? Urging them to get them back a few weeks back.
I think what it might do is if the fans can park the animosity and the kind of angst for a few weeks, it can only help, because the atmosphere at Celtic Park all season has been fairly toxic.
Yeah,
it's been flat at best. It's been angry and resentful and nasty at other times. You've had protests. It's not helped on the pitch. Listen, fans can't score goals and create chances, but they can create an atmosphere that's intimidating for rival teams. See, all season managers go to Celtic Park this season actually think it's a benefit to them rather than a hindrance. So they've turned the crowd against Celtic. What they need to do is, if they're going to park it listen, the problems that are at Celtic are still there, and they will be there in the summer. We know there's structural change needed, and that's not going to go away. But what the supporters need to do en masse is, listen, it's only 250 fans this Green Brigade, but it's the wider perception. They need to be patient. They need to stick with the team, because they are going to be behind at times. They are going to be struggling at times, because this team, so they've got just now, aren't going to turn out 90-minute performances and go and thump teams 4-0 at 5-0. Listen, they might do, but it doesn't look likely. Yep. So they're going to need to stick with them all the way through. Martin Neal's at the point now, he needs all help he can get. Fans can't score goals, can't create chances, but they can give the team a bit of a positivity, and that can't hurt them. Yeah. So I don't know how much a difference it's going to make in terms of the actual performances and all that kind of stuff, but it will be a more kind of unifying force, and it won't hold them back as such. That's what I think. I don't know.
I think it'll make absolutely zero difference to the title race.
Yeah.
I think, as you've already said, it's going to lift atmosphere, which is great, because Parkhead's been a library for far too many games of late.
Yeah.
I think opposing teams, Hearts, Rangers, if they got something about them, it lifts them as well, though. If the atmosphere's lifted, they go on with a siege mentality. See, Rangers and Hearts have both won quite a few times in recent years at Parkhead with the Green Brigade in. So good players get a lift from the crowd being on their back. So I don't see it being a big marker for the title race, but at least it's going to improve. The most interesting thing will be if Celtic go behind, as you've said. What will the Green Brigade strategy be? Will it be back to toxic Parkhead?
Will the truce hold?
Yes.
Or will it go back to
I think we know the answer to that, don't we?
As well. But listen, let's get back. Listen, we're not finished yet with this post-split. Carry on.
Easy for you to say.
Oh,
no, teed myself up now.
Well, listen, we're debating the fixtures and how it all works out, and it's got people every time, this time of year, are always the same. People going, oh, wait a minute, this split's not fair, and etc. We need a 16-team, 18-team league and bin the split. Is it time? We had it for 20 odd years now. Is it time?
2000 that came in?
Yeah, 26 years. Is it time to bin the split?
No. I think it's brilliant.
You're a man for
100%. I split personality. Wait, look at the
split my jeans usually. That's my problem.
look at the headlines is brought even this week alone, and we're a week away from it yet. You get the drama of the fixtures coming out. You then have the drama of, particularly this season, every match day at the top of the split and the bottom of the split meaning something, and it all tees up to that final day showdown. And thankfully this year it might be at both ends of the table. I think you get splits, you get leagues splitting into championship and relegation phases all over Europe. I think ours is the best. I know there's wee imbalances with fixtures and all the rest of it, but I think ours continually brings drama with it. And what's alternative? You just go with a straight, maybe, what would it be, 44 game campaign with no split, and maybe one of the title contenders, as it's sitting at the moment, would have Livingston at home in the final day, whereas other two might be facing each other or something, just because the fixtures were set away back in August. I just think it's perfect for drama.
I just think I tend to agree with you, because you look at other models across Europe, and you think people are saying, well, over a 14-team division, and you get a 7-7 split. That means someone's got a weekend off, and it's an imbalance. Or even a 6-8 split with a 4-team. Then if you're going to split after 2 rounds or 3 rounds, where do you split it? You get the same old problem. Some say do a 6 and 8 split after 2 rounds, then play 2 rounds each. then you could be your team sitting in seventh place. Your season's finished halfway point.
Yep.
So there's no perfect way of doing it with these numbers. Can you go to an 18-team league? We don't have that. We don't have it to go to. Don't have the depth to go to 18-team league, unfortunately. It would create too many meaningless games. And obviously, TV 1 to 4, big derbies, the Edinburgh derbies, the Glasgow derbies, Dundee derbies, all these kind of things. So it might be a case of the better the devil you know. I
think we've exhausted all the alternatives, haven't we, over the years?
Well, every year we talk about this, don't we? Like, what can we do? Listen, when we had the great kind of the COVID season, we did so much time to talk about other things. It was a lot of proposals put out there. Remember the 3-8 revolving door thing and all that. And you're like, I don't know. We're kind of used to it now, and I think it's our wee thing. It's a kind of no, it's not USPs. Other countries have copied ours.
Yeah,
I just think it's.
Is there a better league than ours in Europe at the moment for competitiveness? Let's give the SPFL a pat on the back for once. I think.
I don't. I don't really scour the European leagues right enough. I've not a subscription to Bosnian FA and all that.
There's not many with 3 teams going for the title at this stage.
Yeah, it is exciting.
Right, one of those contenders, obviously Rangers, who are still right in the mix after beating Dundee United 4-2 last week. They go to Falkirk on Sunday. That's a difficult one. Could have suffered another serious injury blow because I'm not sure if Ryan Naderi will play again this season. Who's the main man up front? Bojan Miovski came off the bench and scored a decent wee finish with the deflection last week. Yusuf Chermiti splits opinion. Who's the main man up front for the last 6 games of the season for Rangers?
It's as a concern for Rangers. I think in recent kind of games I don't think they've been getting the best out of Naderi so far. Really, that was his first league goal at the weekend, wasn't it? So he's not really been banging in the goals as such, but he has given Rangers a better shape up front, and I think the weekend I thought going through the middle he was much more effective. Looks like a kind of more old-fashioned kind of number 9, doesn't he? Rather than like kind of support.
Yeah.
So it's a blow, I think, because I think he was finding his feet and he was going to be a big player. If he misses the rest of the games, it is a major blow. So you're looking now at Chermiti. I think he's going to be the one that's got to step up, and that's the key. He is going to have to step up because he's one of the most frustrating players that I've seen. Chermiti, he's got all the tools. I mean, you look at him, he's a big lumpy boy. He's got a hell of a finish. I mean, see some of the goals he scored this season in the games against Celtic and Hearts.
Big games,
unfortunately, the rest of the games, he's bizarre. He seems to drift in and out of them, and you don't seem to get the best out of him. It's just that kind of style. It doesn't sometimes looks as though he's not really that bothered. So he's a frustrating kind of player. And I thought after his overhead kick against Celtic, that's ignition for him. Not really. Not scored since. So he's taking that wee seat. So it needs to stick with the Artemis team. He needs a rocket fired up him, and he's got to step up with the main man. Miovski. I mean, he's a goal scorer.
Proved that Aberdeen. He scored the most goals out of 3 of them, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He scored more than Chermiti and obviously more than Naderi.
He does tend to be more reliable as a goal, so he's still not scored that many.
Is it 11 or 12?
He's got double figures now. So
I think he's more of a goal scorer. A lot of them come in the cup against lower.
Again, that was his first goals in Queen's Park.
But I thought Naderi looked good alone up top through the middle against Dundee United the weekend, where he spent far more of the time between the sticks and doing all the doggy work outside the box, right? Chermiti comes on, replaces him when he gets injured at half time. Chermiti was clean through twice, or staring down the goalie's eyes twice and shot straight at him both times. The first one, fair enough, it was a crowded box. The second one is clean through, and it was a woeful attempt.
It was.
And they really needed the cushion at that point. So you can't hang your hat on the guy. But it does produce into big games. And as we've mentioned already, we're going into a split where it's all big games. So maybe he gets the edge, but I think Miovski still has a big part to play.
I don't think they just play to his strengths right enough. I think they're very direct.
He's best finisher though.
And he's the best finisher, but they don't play in that kind of way that he's in the box, the fox in the box.
Get the ball in the wing and cross it in.
Yeah. So I don't think it's maybe suits him. So it might need a tweak of the way they play for him to be step up. But I think Chermiti's got to be the one. He's spent big money. Go down your dosh, big man.
Probably agree with that, right? But they'll mix and match. Maybe.
But listen, Hearts are still banging the frame, still top of the table with a wee bit of a wobble of late, a couple of points going here and there, but they're still top. And they're fighting top, coming from Tynecastle, still coming, and they're right up for this. But look at the last few away games. I think it's 1 point in 12. Have they been hit with travel sickness?
A wee bit. Can't argue they haven't been. I mean, I was checking back, and their last away win I was at.
Is it just these results in isolation, or is there something changed? Is it symptomatic of a problem? Have they got a problem on the road?
Well, that's what I was looking at, right? Because you take the 4 games. The last one away from home in January, I was at it, Tannadice, and they wiped the floor with Dundee United. They've had 4 since. A draw at Livingston on Sunday with 3 defeats.
Lost at St Mirren, lost at Ibrox, lost at Kilmarnock.
Right, so they're all different problems, right?
Exactly, they're not no pattern there.
Exactly. St Mirren, a woeful mistake for Stuart Finlay, ends up Craig Halkett getting sent off. So
St Mirren have had a number all season. I've watched them in the cup games as well. They've had a number all season.
Kilmarnock.
And
If Hearts don't win the league, they can probably point at 2 teams in the bottom 3 that have cost them most dearly. Right.
Well, the results against the top 3 and top 6 have been great.
Exactly. Not the best in top 6. But back to your point, they lost at St Mirren because they lost another player in the first half at 0-0, and eventually these remember they were going through a spate of games where they're having to play for long periods with 10 men. That caught them out eventually. The game at Ibrox was a shootout, a thriller. They didn't play too badly. Rangers were just too good on the day. Then they go to Kilmarnock, the worst performance of the season, right? They threw in a stinker that night on the plastic. I think they accept that.
Yeah.
And then at the weekend, if the game was they got off to a bad start. Poor defending was a problem at the weekend at Livingston. But they get their noses back in front, and I think everyone's thinking they're just going steamroll Livy from that point on. But then again, woeful defending, and it's suddenly 2-2. So all 4 games, I don't think you can pinpoint one problem, a recurring theme. But that is a problem. I think they need to win all their home games from now on in, which they've been doing pretty well anyway, to have a chance of winning this title, and then take maybe 4 points on the road. What do you think?
Well, they've got, I mean, obviously Easter Road, which is going to be another box office cracker. Motherwell away, and then obviously Parkhead in the final day. So it actually suits them. I think that these games are games that they can go, and they don't need to be expansive. It suits Hearts to be a counter-attacking team. They're direct as well. So those games actually, I think, they've got a better chance than the likes of Kilmarnock or St Mirren are going to Pittodrie early in the season. Obviously, they lost at Easter Road. I mean, the first half of Easter was probably the worst they've played all season. But they almost got a result at it in the second half. They're a whisker away from getting a draw at that one. So I think it suits them. I don't think it's a problem in terms of just going away from home as an issue. I think you're right. I think it's the games they've played have had individual aspects that have caused them problems. But I think the ones to come might actually suit them. So I don't even think they need to win. I think if they get a draw at Easter Road, that's fine. I think they need to win at Motherwell. And then the last game of the season, it's going to be just hold on to your hats.
I'll go back to everything what I've said consistently throughout the season. I think out of the 3 contenders have got the most reliable defence, despite Livingston at the weekend. And now they've got Lawrence Shankland back, best striker in the league. So they've got every chance of winning this title. Going down to the other end of the table, Aberdeen are in deep dodo, aren't they? Stephen Robinson made a mistake taking that job.
Well, I mean, I was at the game last weekend against St Mirren. And the first half in particular was alarm bells ringing, because when you go back 2 weeks earlier, I mean, Robinson, he didn't really miss them. I mean, after the Rangers game, he kind of let them have it, didn't he? Only 2 games into his reign, and he's out with the bazooka, which is kind of bold, really. And we've seen that kind of work and seen it backfire as well. You think, oh, that was interesting.
Yeah.
And then the reaction in the first half, I thought, oh, this is not good, because there was no reaction. Aberdeen were terrible. A slight improvement in the second half. They must have been some blood in the walls at half time, and they came out and they were a bit better. Didn't have a shot on goal right enough, not a shot on target. I think he's walked into the situation, a team that's in the tailspin, no confidence. A lot of players are overpaid, underworking. I mean, it's a mess. I think they're destined for this playoff, and I think that's going to be fraught with danger, because Thistle or Dunfermline, I think, are the ones that are going to be. We know it's weighted against the team coming up. They're going to have to play 150 games before they get to the playoff game, and the away leg's going to be at home for the Premier League team, Premiership team. So they've got all the cards should be in their favour. I just worry about Aberdeen. I don't see where the goals are coming from. There's no scored an away goal since the turn of the year.
Ibrox.
One, sorry. But 1-1 in 16. I mean, lost 7 in the last 9. We've seen this before. I mean, the spectre of Hibs. I mean, you look at Derry Butcher went into Hibs, and he let them have it early on. But they were like just missed out the top 6, and then they plummeted after the split. It's a dogfight down there. I don't think Aberdeen. I think Robinson. I don't think he'll regret it, but he's up against it.
I think your point. I think they are destined for the playoff as well in this form, and I saw them against Dunfermline in the Scottish Cup, and the Pars absolutely wiped the floor with them. 3-0 going on 5 or 6. They schooled them that day. You're right. Aberdeen are an expensive mess assembled by Jimmy Tillene.
Yeah,
he is left behind an absolute mess.
In fairness, but Aberdeen, when Jimmy Tillene left, were in a much stronger position than they are now, despite being poor.
The results started about 18 months
It
ago.
started. It did start. I did start. Yeah.
I think Robinson, I don't think has made a mistake, because if this was maybe the one chance he was going to get of a top 5 job, if he can save them, and I still think he will save them. I think the bazooka came out because he doesn't want Maidstone players.
Yeah.
He wants them out in the summer, so he doesn't really care about upsetting folk. Then if he does pull off the escape, then him and having Darren Mowbray back, the kind of star spotter who's back, they can work on getting their own team together in the summer, and Aberdeen will be much better next season. But
needs a reset, doesn't it? Yeah.
100%. But they have a real fight to save themselves to the drop before then.
It's going to be a nervy running for the old Dandy Dons.
Aye.
Excitement is building ahead of the summer, right enough. The World Cup in Scotland are going to be there. However, every single day we seem to get a new story coming out about this American, and it looks like greed to me. The train fares are through the roof. The ticket prices are through the roof. They're moving the goalposts in terms of where you can sit and what you're paying.
Yeah,
it just is all getting a bit grubby. Has FIFA and the US ruined the World Cup before a ball's kicked?
In terms of that, aye. I mean, never have I been in a position where I've not been envious of my pals that are going to America.
Yeah.
But I'm not envious at all. No. I'm hearing the guys, my neighbour, he's going across, and just last week or this month he's managed to get 2 tickets for the opening game, and he's doing cartwheels because he got them for 800 quid. I'm like, come on, what start that? You know what I mean? What's happening to the world? What's happening to the World Cup?
Yeah.
So it's complete greed. FIFA do not deserve the crowds or the money that they are going to get, but they're going to get it. I think the term working class men went in the bin along with past goalies picking up pass backs back in the 90s, didn't it?
It's supposed to be the game of the people, isn't it?
Exactly. It's a miles to that.
It's a shame, isn't it?
And then America and Trump as well. I mean, I don't want to be Captain Doomsmonger here, right? But America and Trump, you want to be in a place where not a lot else is going on. The World Cup is the focus of the world. Well, America's hardly that place right now, is it? And you just know he's going to take so many of the headlines. He's going to walk in front and centre, demanding peace prizes and all the rest of it. So no, but look, it's the World Cup. I'll be watching safely for the Realms Moan home in my tartan jammies instead of my tartan tammy, and I'll be quite happy to do so.
It's a shame because I thought FIFA. I mean, you think how grubby can you get? I mean, obviously you had the Russia and Qatar World Cups. You think, well, they've maxed out in terms of the grubbiness, but I actually think they've managed to surpass it going to the US, because the US. Listen, I love America, family out there, and it's a great place. But it is the old Gordon Gekko, greed is good. I mean, it's rampant capitalism out there. So any chance to make money, they go for it. And they're fleecing people left, right, and centre because they can. And it's disgusting, because it's supposed to be the global game, and it's supposed to be FIFA are absolutely minted. I mean, how much money do they possibly need?
Yep.
Yeah, it's capitalism gone wild. Like you say, I mean, train fares have been quadrupled and more and worse. Hotel prices are through the roof.
Yeah.
I know supply and demand is there, right? But I mean, come on. I mean, come off it. It's disgusting. So it's excluding so many people. The worry is for me as well. I was actually in America for the '94 World Cup, and it's such a big place. It's almost like when I was in New York, New Jersey. I went to one of the games up there, and it was good. But once you get out, I went down to Washington for a few days to see family. You would never have known the World Cup was happening.
Right.
I went down to Philly and all these places, and you would never have known.
Really?
Aye. It's strange. And because it's such a vast country and huge, I mean, I think the city centres, I think you don't really have city centres in downtown areas, I suppose. Like you get it in Boston, you'll have a bit of atmosphere there, I think. Miami will have it. But other places, it's so widespread. I mean, look at Boston. Scotland team are playing an hour for Boston and get charged taxis and trains and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
It's hard to kind of congregate in certain areas because it's the way it's so spread out.
Yeah.
So I think you can be somewhere in America and staying somewhere and you don't even know the World Cup's happening. And plus, it's not the big sport we think it is.
America.
So I think it'll be a spectacle in terms of the games. There's too many teams in it as well. I mean, let's be honest. Looking at some of the fixtures and you're thinking, am I going to start?
Always that. Remember the opening game of the last one?
I remember World Cup. I'd literally have my wall chart and I'd watch every single game, 3 games a day and all that stuff. And
I'm still planning
right off my wee planner, my wee tabs in and all that stuff. Whereas this, I'm going I don't know. I mean, it's a lot of games.
I've still
106 group games, isn't it?
I've still got my daily record.
60
Mexico 86 world chart. I've still got it.
Showing your age. I think I've got mine somewhere as well. But I mean, I think 60% of the games going to finish after midnight for us.
I know it's another disappointment. I
think it's
I feel for the Tartan Army. I do, because they will pay anything to go anywhere to watch their country, but they're being fleeced, as you say. Right, let's switch sports now for the run-in. Tyson Fury is back on the bill. Do you think he can be heavyweight king again?
You know what? I wouldn't put anything past him. And the division is a slightly strange place right now. This is, I mean, how many times has he retired? I mean, he's retiring all the time. I've lost count as well. He does it all the time. He's back again from his 19th retirement. He's fighting this weekend against Arslanbek. Macmaduff.
Sounds Scottish.
Macmaduff. A decent fight. I mean, it's a decent enough contest for him. I think he should win it, but awkward enough. I've seen the big fella picked up Tyson at the weigh-in or the press conference the other day. Lifted him up there, which is funny. It's a good opponent. So it'll be a test, and he'll be kind of a judge of where he is. And obviously, the Usyk fights took a lot out of Fury, and it looked like a man who's over the hill. You wonder if his lifestyle might catch up with all this big weight ballooning and try to get back down a wee bit. says me.
But you're not going in the ring, Mick.
Well, I'm not exactly. I think it's risky for him. I mean, he's got to win. Then you think I don't think a world title's on the horizon for him.
No.
I think what will happen is he'll get another fight. I think he'll try and get a fight with Anthony Joshua, which is the real moneymaker.
Aye.
And then after that, he'll be off ski. I think there is a slightly new breed coming through in the heavyweight division that are going to be in charge for the next wee period of time. Usyk will eventually step aside. I think, Tyson Fury's time is probably coming to an end, but it won the last major payday against AJ, because people want to see that fight.
Aye.
And it's a shame that it's coming. The two of them are probably going to be beyond their best at that stage. So, but
we'll still watch
it. We'll all tune in and watch it.
I was surprised he's actually
Fury
still only 37. Nah, not at all. Nah, never have been. I was surprised he's only 37.
Yeah,
he seems a lot older, but his legs are going, if not gone, surely.
Yeah.
And the question is, will he be king again? I don't think so. I mean, if he fought Usyk again, it's just going to go the same way as the previous fights, is it not?
I don't really see the point of that happening again. That's why I think the big money maker against AJ is probably the way to go and bow out.
I know you hinted at it there. I've been told reliably that the new king in town is a guy, Moses Atoma.
Yeah, good.
Is that
He's good prospect. I think he is going to be next big thing.
Right.
Yeah. So there's some champions come and go. Usyk's still there. I think he's there for a while yet. Until he vacates, he's going to be the king. So I don't see it. I mean, I watched the Chisora Wilder fight the weekend. I mean, 42 and 40. It was entertaining in a kind of pub car park kind of way, but the guys they're not going to be threatening any world titles anytime soon.
No.
It was a nice enough fight, but it was
time for the next generation to come through.
Yeah. But talking about heavyweight contests, this is what I'm into this weekend. I mean, I watched the first round. It was a brilliant first day.
Apart from one,
the Masters
problem.
Unfortunately, I was going to say Big Bob having a Gannon-esque meltdown. I was watching that thinking, I've been in that movie many times.
Augusta?
Well, not Augusta. Alexander Parade, the old names go up there. Effing and blinding and put the ball in the water. No, Bob. You'll learn from this. You'll learn. But the Masters, listen, controversially, I think the Masters is the greatest major.
Yes.
Do you agree?
I do. Right. I'm not going to take up too much time because I love golf. I know it's your thing. Right. I do. I don't know if it's because it's the kind of first major of the season and we're all excited for it. I don't know if it's because it's the best course. I mean, it's like playing in a different universe, isn't it? It's so beautiful. Amen corner, all the rest of it. I don't know if it's because it's the smallest field of the four majors, so you're guaranteed the best, the cream of the crop. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's all everything put together. For me, it's the course. I used to tune in as a youngster before I was really interested in golf, just because it was so beautiful to watch. I think all those three things put together, you seem to get a more respectful crowd as well. I don't know if I'm right in saying that.
Oh, the patrons.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. For me, it's definitely. I would always answer it's the best of the four majors. What you tell me why, Mick?
I must admit, listen, I love the Open. I've covered the Open a good few times, and I must admit the Open is just sensational. I've covered the US Open as well, which I loved. So for me, the Open is the pinnacle. I think for maybe because we were from this country, I think the Claret Jug. If you said to me, I'm a duffer, I like to play my golf. If I was back when I was a kid, we were dreaming probably the Claret Jug and the green jacket. I think they're probably on a par. I think so. And I say I love the Open. Is just spectacular. I love it. I love the links aspect. But there is something so special about the Masters. And like you say, I think because of timing as well. It's like the springtime, the flowers are out. The course, you know the course at the back of your hand. So you actually know you're watching someone go somewhere, you go, oh, that's the wrong place to be. It might look okay, but that's a bad place to be. And you know it's so well in the drama. Last year, the Rory win last year was as good a sporting event I've ever seen as a viewer.
Yeah.
I think Tiger Woods winning in 2019 again. I actually went back and watched the full final days coverage. You can get it on YouTube now. It's brilliant. That's how sad I am.
What, this year you went back and watched it?
Well, you did a few days ago. Yeah. Not like 6 hours, but
that's different level, man.
Fast forward wee bits of it, but you can get the full day's coverage. Right. We've got them right back to the 70s, which is, going to drive people.
You must have longer days than me.
Insomnia. But yeah, I think the Masters is just such a special event. It could be. Well, say a tie. I want to say a tie with the Open because the Open for me will always have a place.
Edges it for me. I can't wait to get home tonight and watch it now.
However,
right. That's the final question, isn't it? Good place to stop. Poor Swanee, getting his 2 biggest events of the year in the same weekend. What's he going to do with himself? The Grand National competing with Augusta.
I'm sure he will manage.
Aye.
I'm sure he'll manage. Probably a beer in his hand.
Yeah, or 2. Yeah. Right. Come on. Grand National 2026. Pick us.
Well, you're getting ahead of yourself because if you flash back on this show 12 months ago, who picked the winner for last year's Grand National?
I'm guessing it's somebody that's not too far away.
The big man here.
All right, go on. Who was it?
Nick Rocket.
So it was. Well
By
done.
the way, 33 to 1. 33 to 1 winner.
And talk us through your thought process.
Well, I looked at the form. I looked at the kind of the course going and all that stuff, and I also quite liked the name because it reminded me of my when I worked down in England, my FA, my EFL, press pass. I made a mistake with the accreditation, and my name is Nick Cannon. I thought Nick Cannon and Nick Rocket.
Brilliant.
There must be a wee symmetry there, and I backed it, and I made a wee few quid. So pressure's on to pick a winner for this one. So I'm going to go for a horse well kent to us. Captain Cody won the Scottish National last year.
Yep.
There's only been 3 horses that have won the Scottish National and the Grand National. Red Rum and Earth Summit. I can't remember the third one. There's only been 3. So I think Captain Cody, you can get 16 to 1 some places, 14s maybe as well. I think Captain Cody is going to do the double and become Scottish and Grand National winner.
Right.
There you are. Heard it here first. Willie Mullins horse.
Go with what Mick's suggesting, all right? But I've got to answer the question as well. So my sensible answer, if you're looking for a kind of outsider to make a bit of money, no, I've never picked a winner in the Grand National.
Never?
And I'm 46 years old, right? However, there's always a first time for everything. So my sensible one, if you're looking to make a wee bit of money, 8 to 1, it's Panic Attack. Again, I like the name, kind of sums up the Scottish Premiership.
Having worked with you in a few press boxes, it's quite apt.
That's true, aye. 81, I think he won a double at the end of last season with the Paddy Power Gold Cup, the Coral Gold Cup at Newbury. She's in fine form coming in, jumps well, 8 to 1, decent bet. However, I like to be a complete amateur and show my kind of rookiness in this matter, and always pick one that strikes a chord with me, going by the name, and that for this year is Twig. Right, come on, the Twig. What a story though. Bought for £100 5 years ago just to give a 16-year-old rookie his first race, and now lining up as a 66 to 1 shot at Aintree. What a story. I remember the Grand National used to be more about the story than the actual.
Yeah.
You know, I thought, what a story. If somehow Twig branches out and wins the Grand National with young, Bo Morgan in the saddle.
Right.
What a story. Come on, the Twig.
Give me the odds.
66 to 1.
66 to 1. I'll get a wee each way on that. Surely
it's starting to win things.
Well, that's a good wee each way. We'll go for that.
Okay.
Spanish Harlem at 50s for my each way.
Okay.
Another Willie Mullins horse, but that's my Spanish Harlem for each way.
Aye. If folk want to be safe, go with Mick's suggestions.
Well, I don't know about that. That was a one-off last year.
Mick's tips. Mick Cannon's tips.
Nick Cannon, ace tipser. Right. Anyway, our race has been run here
Love it.
Fraz. Thanks for tuning in as always. Don't forget, hit those like and subscribe buttons, and you can catch us on the usual podcast outlets. Thanks again to NordVPN, our wonderful sponsors. Check out the links below for your discounts and all that stuff to get involved. Fire in your comments, especially if one of our tips come in the Grand National. We'll post our bank details below. You can send us a wee cut of the winnings. That'd be great. Thanks again. We'll catch you again next week.